You're listening to Side Hustle Pro, the podcast that teaches you to build and grow your side hustle from passion project to profitable business. And I'm your host, Nicaila TV. So let's get started. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. It's Nicaila here, and I am so excited to be coming to you with another solo episode. So first of all, I'm short on time, so this episode might not be as long as my usuals, but I gotta get it in while I have a break from the baby. So many updates for you guys, especially if you're not following my Nicaila TV YouTube channel and not subscribed, which why wouldn't you be? Make sure you go over to YouTube and do that. So big updates. Number one, me and Moyo and Kingston, we moved back to New York City where we grew up. And I'm so excited to be here because, this is where our village is. Both sets of grandparents are here. So my parents and Moyo's parents, and we are able to get so much more support and help with childcare being here. So, and I'm just looking forward to, the content I will create, the feeling, the energy that I have when I'm in New York. So for more on why I moved back, check out my video on Nicaila TV YouTube called Life Update. I moved back to New York, and yeah, definitely let me know what you think. And very excited and looking forward to doing more now that we have more help. So that was the first update. Second update, speaking of Nicaila TV, I have been really consistent with YouTube. I'm very proud of myself. Coming into this year, I knew that I wanted to recommit and take it seriously. And that's the beauty of side hustling. You can recommit. You can get back on the ball anytime you need to. I'm very much someone who is about giving yourself grace, recalculating when things don't go according to plan, and just continuing to get up and keep going each time you fall. So with Nicaila TV, launched it in 2021 and, couldn't really get into my content rhythm. I've touched on that before, but saying all that to say, now we're in 2022 and January and February, I put out a video consistently. Now, consistently, as you guys know, for me means that I keep going. So I skipped a week in January and a week in February. So I think I had 3 videos in January, 3 videos in February, but coming into March, my goal is 4 videos. Now, it's interesting that I had that many videos already for the year, because I think the amount of videos I have already for the year is like the amount maybe total I did in 2021. So already exceeding expectations. But in all seriousness, what I love about how I'm approaching it this time is, yes, I would love to work up to doing it 2 times a week, releasing every Sunday and every Wednesday. But I'm also cognizant of the challenges in scheduling and just life that prevent me from doing that yet. So until then, I'm going to focus on doing it weekly, releasing every Sunday at least. So I noticed that because I had set my goal so ambitious in January and February, I ended up biting off more than I could chew. But now that I know, okay, I'm just aiming for 4 videos this month, like 1 each week, I already know I'm going to hit that. Like, as a matter of fact, I recorded the first 2 already. So I skipped the first Sunday in March, but the next 2 are queued up. And then I just have to do 2 more. And so I'm getting into that rhythm of what it means to film weekly YouTube content. So I hope that's encouraging for you guys with your side hustles, and that, you just keep going. Like, no matter what your performance was in 2020, 2021, it's 2022 now. Let's see how we can recommit to our goals. So update number 3. Side Hustle Pro is being inducted into the Podcast Hall of Fame. What? That was my first reaction. Just like, oh my goodness, what a blessing. I feel so very blessed. And most of all, because of you, every single one of you listening right now. I mean, thank you. Thank you so much for subscribing to Side Hustle Pro, for listening to Side Hustle Pro, for sharing this show with your friends, colleagues, just telling people about this. Because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here, like people wouldn't know about the show. And when it comes to podcasting, that's really what it comes down to, like people wanting to listen and share your show and feeling that the content is valuable and informative and enriching. And so I'm just so very grateful Of course, I'm not giving an acceptance speech at this moment, but I'm just sharing what's going on with me. And so that ceremony is coming up on March 25th. And I'm really looking forward to just being a part of that virtually. And I'm looking forward to the opportunities, and meeting more people, meeting fellow podcasters, and always leveling up, right? How can I continue to grow, and how can I continue to make sure that more people are aware of the information that I share and that my guests share on this show, so that it can be as helpful as possible to as many people as possible. That's what I'm always thinking about. And I'm so just honored. And I think about the fact that when I was getting ready to launch this show, I almost didn't. I started backtracking, second guessing myself. I pushed out my publish and my release date a bunch of times. I pushed it back. So for those of you who are listening and you're getting ready to start, you want to start and you keep pushing it back, know that that's normal. I did it. A lot of people did it. It's so normal. But if you have an idea in your heart, if you have a conviction, please keep moving forward with that, because that's in you for a reason. I never would have known how many lives this show would touch, and being inducted into the Podcast Hall of Fame, I'm just so grateful. I want to read a little bit about it because not many people were aware. It actually was something that was tabled for a bit. So this is on the podcastmovement.com website, and they share that we're proud to announce the Hall of Fame honorees to be inducted during next month's ceremony at Evolutions. Congratulations to this year's outstanding additions. And then they list out all of the honorees. They said these nominees are considered outstanding podcasters or contributors to their industry by their peers. When this year's class joins past inductees, the Hall of Fame will total 33 members. The Hall of Fame was first launched in 2015 with the goal of recognizing great podcasters with positive historical impact. After a several-year hiatus, we're proud to be partnering with Libsyn to bring the ceremony back. And then it goes into the official press release from Libsyn. So that's just to give you guys a little background on the Podcast Hall of Fame, in case you're wondering, how you can work towards this and how you can learn more about it. Definitely make sure you're clued into the Podcast Movement organization. They host conferences, they host events for podcasters. That was one of the first podcasting events I ever went to back in 2017, shortly before I quit my job. I knew by that point that I was leaving, and it was so helpful to go to Podcast Movement and go to certain sessions on monetization and things like that to, confirm what I knew about monetization, to learn new tips. So that was really helpful. And I'm truly grateful to the Podcast Movement team, to Libsyn, and the entire awards committee for honoring Side Hustle Pro. So especially want to shout out the folks at Libsyn who have always been supportive. I always tell you guys that I host my podcast on Libsyn. And if you want to get started with podcasting, definitely check out Libsyn, because they have excellent customer service. I've been using them since I launched the show, and I have a code for Libsyn. So use code Hustle Pro, and then you'll get the first month and a half free when you join. So you can see what the platform has to offer before you even pay for that. So definitely use my code over at Libsyn. So guys, let's face it, the work world looks so much different than it ever has. Whether you're in person, remote, or in a closet like me, or somewhere in between, taking care of your team couldn't be more important. That's where Gusto comes in. Gusto's modern HR platform makes it easy to hire, pay, manage, and support your employees, all in one system of record. That means no more jumping between applications and no more jumping through hoops. Your payroll, your benefits, your hiring and onboarding, team management tools, and so much more are all there for you in one convenient place. On top of that, Gusto provides actionable insights to inform decisions around workforce costing, competitive compensation, and employee engagement. So all those tough decisions you make each day just got a whole lot easier. And the best part? Listeners of Side Hustle Pro get 3 months of Gusto for free at gusto.com/SHP. That's right. If you're ready to experience a new bar for HR, get 3 months free at gusto.com/SHP. Gusto.com/SHP. Let's talk about what is professional today. On LinkedIn, important conversations are happening around what it means to be a professional. And right now, LinkedIn members are talking about things like needing more flexibility around where we work, how we work, and even taking time away from work to focus on family or mental health. Because those things should not stunt career development and growth. Instead, they should enhance it as we show up on our own terms. Members are even putting what's important to them in their job titles now, with things like podcast host /activist /mom, and you know I'll be updating my title soon to podcast Hall of Famer. So professional is ours to define, and our authentic self is our professional self. So if your LinkedIn doesn't reflect who you really are, update your job title, okay? Post your truth, show the world the authentic professional you, and join the conversations redefining professional on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, welcome professionals. Let's get into my final update, which is, drumroll please. So, final update of the month is that I have launched Side Hustle Pro merch. Dun, dun, dun! Or relaunch, I should say. So when I first launched my podcast in 2016, I had merch out the gate, and it was using Teespring. You know, Teespring is a site where you can quickly set up, I think they call it campaign at the times. I don't know if they still do this. And so basically, it is a drop shipping type of platform where you do not have to pay for any inventory. As people order, they create the shirt and send it out to the folks. So it is, drop shipping is appealing for that reason, because you don't have to pay and have all this inventory in your basement. However, the thing about drop shipping and doing it yourself is that the quality is not always something that you can be proud of. So especially when you're updating, like I was like just updating your own logo, saving it as a JPEG. It's not super high res. And then you get the shirt and it's all stretched out and you're envisioning gold like my logo was. And the reason why I stick with gold, by the way, you guys, is because it has a special place in my heart. That was my very first Side Hustle Pro logo was gold. And so my merch started out with the gold. I may branch out of that in the future, but for now, we're sticking with that, and I'll get into that a little bit more when I talk about SKUs. So yeah, started out with drop shipping, and it was cool because it was low overhead. I could just test out the field. People bought, mostly friends and family, but it was nice. And the main reason I had merch when I started was so that I could go to conferences and show off my show. Like it was a marketing tool for me. I was showing off the fact that I had this podcast. I had my info on the back. It was really, really fun and cute. Now, then the next time I really tried to do merch, I put up the Side Hustle shop around Black Friday, my very first year of launching a podcast. So 2016, I went about it and I put up my own Shopify site, launched for Black Friday, coupon code, everything. And when I was running like posts and ads on Facebook and Instagram, I had tried to merchandise it and everything. I had the t-shirt, then I had this statement necklace and all this stuff around it. And, I'd even gotten light boxes to take really good photos of my items and everything. And wouldn't you know, when I shared the t-shirts that I was selling, people were like, "Oh, I love the necklace. Where's that from? Oh, love this. Where's that from?" And I'm like, that's not for sale, you guys. Pay attention. Pay attention. I'm selling the t-shirts. So that was a good learning lesson as well, about how to make sure that the main thing is the main thing when you are sharing content on social, and making sure that you're really highlighting what it is that is for sale and what they need to focus on, and make sure you're not putting something else in your post that's tantalizing that could distract them and take attention away from what is actually for sale. Yet and still, I kind of got a little bit intimidated around merch. You guys know, anytime that someone is on this show, someone who is in e-commerce, someone who has apparel-based businesses, and I'm always asking them about the margins and, how to make it work at scale, because when you have something like a t-shirt, you can only charge so much. When you have something that's a clothing item, you have to really figure out where do you come in on the pricing and why. What is the value that you bring? And then how much does it cost to produce that? What's the profit that you're making? Then, what are you going to charge? How does shipping work? Depending on the carrier you go with, what's that going to be for shipping? Then you have to think about taxes. And it was always just intimidating because I was like, oh, this is a lot. When I was doing it, drop shipping, it was more easy, but I didn't love the quality. And now when I'm approaching it where I really want to do it, seriously, it's like I have to deal with all the business scaries, right? But guess what? Business scaries are part of life. Like you say you want to be a boss, you say you want to be an entrepreneur, then you got to deal with these business scaries. So around the time of the Side Hustle Pro live show, this was in 2019. So 3 years, you guys, 3 years later, I do the live show, and my event producer, Raina Campbell of the Dreams and Drive podcast, connects me with the lovely ladies at the Merch Studio, Black-owned, family-owned business based in Maryland, who provide and work with many of your favorite Black-owned brands to create quality merchandise for their product lines. So they ended up partnering with me to do these amazing bags, amazing notebooks, amazing pens, and all these special touches for the Side Hustle Pro live show, including this mic flag that I cannot find for the life of me. I need to get another one. So I just loved that experience. And when I saw that come to life, I was like, I gotta do merch. And for the show, I actually had created, this was before I knew I would end up working with Merch Studio. I had quickly drafted up some Side Hustle Pro t-shirts with my new logo, because I had gotten a new logo since launching the show. And again, the quality, because I went about it on my own, it was just not what I was looking for. Like the gold was faded, and I was like, darn, I really got to find someone who does this and stop playing around, stop trying to do it on my own. So fast forward, of course, we all know baby happens. And so fast forward to I think around end of 2020, beginning of 2021, I started talking to the Merch Studio ladies again about really doing merch, relaunching my Shopify store. And so that began the road to Side Hustle Pro merchandise. So we've been working together, testing out samples, deciding on the product mix. You guys know that when I talk to people in e-commerce, guests who are in e-commerce, people like Kim Lewis from Curl Mix, people like Zakia Blaine of FBF Body, I talk about, how do they know what their audience wants, and how do they decide how much inventory to get, and things like that are important when you're trying to make a profit, right? So I didn't do a survey. It might be something that I'll do in the future, but for now I wanted to start with staples, and I didn't want to do too many SKUs. So I've started with the things that I know based on social media reactions were tantalizing or things that people were interested in. It's funny because the best seller so far is something that I landed on by chance. I knew I wanted to do a drinkware item because I'm always drinking either water or my tea. And, so at first I gravitated towards a water bottle, but then this idea of a mug kept calling me. And at first we were going to do a black mug with a gold handle, and, something about it, it just didn't seem like my everyday mug. Like I wanted a mug that I know that I'm going to pour my tea into and drink out of every day. So I kept working with the Merch Studio ladies, and I kept asking for different, samples and things like that. And then, lo and behold, this gold mug came about. And I said, that's it. That's it. When I saw that. And so we drafted up. I wish I had it here with me, but you guys have seen it. I'll insert a picture. You've seen it in my office tour over on Nicaila TV. You've seen it on my Instagram page. You have seen this gold mug, and you can see it at sidehustleshop.co. So this gold mug is by far the best seller. And I think it's because, I know it's because it's big. The gold doesn't fade. It's lasting, it's quality. So I really love that about it. And then of course we have the actual apparel items. So the hoodie and the jogger, you guys, we went back and forth. I mean, I have so many black hoodie samples, sweatshirt samples in my closet because of how many things we went through until I found the perfect one, the one that felt solid. It felt warm. It felt comfortable. And it just feels like it's like not too thick, definitely not too thin, because I hate that thin feeling sweatshirt that, is out there a lot. So, and I don't like that one that feels like, like it makes you like boxy either. No, it's not that. It's still flexible and still like, feminine, and it's just something that I love wearing myself. I'll insert a little video. So if you guys are listening to this, make sure you check out this episode on the Side Hustle Pro YouTube so you can kind of see me modeling this, and I'll try to put that on the website as well. So me modeling the jogger as well as the hoodie. The gold is also real gold. It's no longer that faded looking thing that I was trying to do myself when I'm trying to pick a hex code and hope that it's gold. Google gold hex code and put it out there. Like, that was not working. This is an actual gold foil that, again, is machine washable, does not fade. You have to care for it. Don't just throw it in there. Like, make sure you follow the washing instructions, but it does not fade. I've washed it countless times and it's still that beautiful gold shiny. So it's so shiny that I actually had to take it off. I was going to record this episode in it, but it kept reflecting off of the camera. So I was like, oh my gosh, this thing is shiny. So yes, it is a beautiful gold. And the joggers also have a hidden zipper. Like, where do you see a hidden zipper? Talk about quality. Like, this is something I could see this being, a regular fit that, I wear, loungewear, travel. Everybody knows that you need a good travel jogger set. And so this is what this is going to be for me as well. So you'll see me in the airport. If you're like, is that Side Hustle Pro? Yes, it is. And then what I'm also learning is I think that you guys are interested in, well, I know because people have reached out to me because I teased having a planner, like a physical book of some sort. So I'm still working through what would go on the interior of that book. I don't want it to just be a blank notebook. At least let me know if you want a blank notebook. Okay. This is my informal survey, but I kind of wanted to incorporate the Goal Getter Action Plan principles. And so I'm determining if I want it to be a full scale journal planner situation, or if I want it to be something where, I have some beginning interior pages that walk you through the process, and then it's blank pages after that for you to use as you wish. So let me know. Let me know what you would prefer. But I know that people, because I teased it in my office tour video, were like, where's the notebook? and that's good. Thank you for that feedback, because I wasn't sure anyone would notice that they weren't there yet. But yes, notebook, pens are still coming. I was trying to listen to my guests who tell me not to launch with too many SKUs, to, go out in a phased approach. So I started out with the apparel. And y'all, make sure you go and get that apparel. It's still cool enough, East Coasters, for your hoodie and your jogger, and your West Coasters, especially those in the Bay. You know that your summer be playing games and you need a good sweatshirt and a good jogger. So make sure you go over to the site. And of course, I have the t-shirt as well. But I'm also in the next phase getting ready to introduce some of my signature phrases as t-shirts. Again, this will be a phased approach. I'm not coming out there with 5 t-shirts, coming out there with one that we just finished finalizing the design for. And I'm so excited about this one. And I'm so excited to actually do some product shoots. So that's the next thing that will help me with just the marketing this. And I think with the shop, it's been interesting because most people, when you think of podcast merch, it is something that's like a nice to have. And it's not like your main business. Your main business is your podcast. However, for me, I just love working on this. And so I'm trying to figure out, how and where I want to, I guess I'm trying to wrap my mind around how to spend time on the different pockets of my business as I do more and more. So I have Nicaila TV growing. I have the merch growing. Moyo and I work together on Color Noir. He mainly takes the lead on that, but it's still, a part of our family mission statement, a part of our family, the Akome Team Akome goals. And then, of course, I have the Side Hustle Pro podcast, and I want to do more with Side Hustle Pro YouTube and video as well. So working through how I want to develop and, compartmentalize my day and my weeks, because not every day needs to touch on every single thing that I do. But I'm really excited about merchandise. It's not just something that's like oh, by the way, I have a Side Hustle Pro shop. Oh, by the way, check this out. No, this is something I want to weave into my social media content. I want to do reels on it. I want to do photo shoots. I want to incorporate new motivational, inspirational slogans. And I definitely want a very solid, strong notebook that I would use and you would use to plan your side hustle goals. So all of that is still coming. And in the meantime, make sure that you're stocking up on your Side Hustle Pro apparel. Make sure you're stocking up on your Side Hustle Pro mug, because let me tell you, that mug, what happened with that as well, and this is part of the reason why I delayed the launch a little bit, because I really wanted that mug. And the supply chain issues that are happening to every business out there, it happened to me too. Those mugs went out of stock and I was so crushed. I was so heartbroken, but praise be, they came back in. So make sure you get those mugs, because they're not guaranteed to last. Okay. Let's cross our fingers that they keep coming back, but get those mugs because they're not guaranteed to last. So if you're waiting for, them to go on clearance or something like that, they will not be going on clearance. They're the best selling item in the Side Hustle Pro shop. All right. So, guys, let me know what else you'd like to see. Let me know what questions you have about your own road to your merchandise for your podcast or just for your side hustle. Let me know, what things you relate to, what things you have questions about. I'm always happy to share. And that's pretty much my update for this month. So thank you guys for tuning in. As always, be sure to like, subscribe, share. And thank you again for allowing me to be inducted into the Podcast Hall of Fame. Thank you. And I'll talk to you next week. Hey guys, thanks for listening to Side Hustle Pro. If you like the show, be sure to subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts. It helps other side hustlers just like you to find the show. And if you want to hear more from me, you can follow me on Instagram at Side Hustle Pro. Plus, sign up for my 6-bullet Saturday newsletter at sidehustlepro.co/newsletter. When you sign up, you will receive weekly nuggets from me, including what I'm up to, personal lessons, and my business tip of the week. Again, that's sidehustlepro.co/newsletter to sign up. Talk to you soon.